morning, fellow Ambazonians. Today, now Wednesday, number 27 day for number 7 month for the year 2022. My name na Capo Daniel, the Deputy Defense Chief and the spokesman of the Ambazonian Governing Council, aka Sense Past King, una own countryman. Una welcome to our daily podcast, a program where we bring una meaningful information, the truth, fact-based analysis for help we as we waka for this journey to our freedom, the independence of Ambazonia. Good people of the former British Southern Cameroons, citizens of Ambazonia, the visit of Emmanuel Macron, the president of France, is ongoing in the Republic of Cameroon. But first, one of the Cameroon terrorist occupation forces, where it be present for inside Kumba when they be bring field marshal for can display for public, it and be killed by Ambazonian forces. As will be promised our people, there shall be a reprisal attack for the killing and public displaying of field marshal. The display of the death of soldiers fighting for the Ambazonian people is an insult to the dignity and worth of the Ambazonian man. As we said, the reprisal will come and they shall not see it coming. 3 Cameroon soldiers were wounded alongside with their commander, Mr. Isama, be killed in action by Ambazonian forces in Kumba. Our forces will continue to operate in this guerrilla formation throughout our national territory. There is nowhere that will be safe for the enemy forces. We will continue to implore our citizens to find weaknesses and positions where our forces can easily attack Cameroon military and report those vulnerabilities to our authorities to pass them down for action such as this one to be taken. Why, for inside the great state of Meme, just 2 days after the soldiers of Sokadef, led by their commander, transporter, they released video footages from an attack.
Today now, the 24th of July, 2022, one of the Southern Cameroon Defense Force, Sokadef, the ARFs, we just knocked La Republic, we don't knock the one Amoka, we launch now we do to the battle to them. We're clearing my 12, as you can see.
The video footages will be taken for inside Ekele Windy for my 12. It shows the soldier them for Sokadef with the retreat. The talk said they ran launch an attack against an armored vehicle of La Republique du Cameroon, and then they go back. 2 days after La Republique du Cameroon, their military they ran come for can carry out a revenge attack. Their reprisal, they not target the Sokadef soldiers, they not target General Transporter, but then come directly for the civilian population for my 12. According to eyewitnesses, the Cameroon military then come for day with 4 armored vehicles, with 3 armored personnel, hillocks, the way they ran transform them. It will be more than 100 in their number. As soon as they arrive, they open fire sporadically, killing 4 innocent civilians unarmed on the spot. Several wounded, and many people then run helter-skelter away from the Cameroon terrorist forces. This was clearly an attack against our civilian population, an attack on people who had no defense, who returned no fire. 4 individuals, innocent civilians who were going about their day-to-day business, were killed by the Cameroon occupation terrorist forces. This is pure terrorism, and this demonstrates for our people then once more. See, the Cameroon forces, they used an act of terrorism. This is pure definition of what a terrorist is. Cameroon is a terrorist regime. Attack on civilian population for the purpose of revenge or sending a political message is pure terrorism. The population was attacked by the Cameroon military because Ambazonian forces attacked the Cameroon military. The Cameroon military did not go to attack the Ambazonian forces, but they attacked the civilians. This should tell our people one thing. The Ambazonian forces represent the people. It represents their interests. That's why the Cameroon forces always come to attack our civilians. We should know this. It's very important that our people acknowledge and understand what is going on. This will help us to take responsibility and to understand that this war is not a matter of just our soldiers. We should fall behind them and empower them as they represent our state and the aspiration of our people. They are the hope of our people. Only a foreign and an alien army will attack civilians for action committed by fighters. This shows our people that Cameroon is a foreign country, their military is a terrorist and occupation forces. They have no interest in our people. They see all of us as foreigners and occupied people that can be subjected to such terrorist attack, such collective punishment for our people standing up for their right of self-determination to be completely decolonized, separate and independent. We must continue to fight and take on our responsibility to arm the armed resistance to the fullest. Make some man ino fise, ino conseni, or ino dede. So long as you are an Ambazonian, you are involved, your stake is involved. You must get involved, look for way to arm yourself, organize yourself into vigilante group, support the armed forces, and join the recruitment that is ongoing to defend and protect our sovereignty and restore our dignity. A terrorist and occupation and colonial army knows only one thing: force, self-defense, and resistance. In another news, as we have warned our people, in Wum, in the great state of Menchum, another communal violence have been instigated by the Cameroon occupation forces. Inside Wum, 3 innocent civilians have been killed by Mbororo Fulani vigilante that has gone wild on our population. They attack a funeral procession, killing 3 innocent civilians, wounding several of them, hitting them on their heads. Over 18 people had wounds on their head with the traditional style of fighting by the Mbororo people using the Nganako stick. This was a direct attack on the civilian population. It was staged and it was meant to send a message that this was attacked by the Mbororo people. The use of the Mbororo stick, the multiple people being hit on their head, was deliberate. We have been putting out information to inform our population about the instigation of communal violence by the state of Cameroon's intelligence wing, sponsored by their enablers and collaborators, in order to draw our people into communal sensitivity, to divert the attention of the population against the state of Cameroon, and for them to come and demand help and assistance and demand for the presence of the Cameroon military. The Cameroon government have been using such appeals made after such communal violence to justify their presence in Ambazonia to the international community, and also to campaign to legitimize their presence of their soldiers in our territories. The incident in Wum happened on the 25th of this month, where Fulani people were kidnapped, 4 of them. Later on, their bodies were found dead, beheaded, and stabbed closer to the banks of Lake Wum. They were probably killed and put there for their body to be seen. All Ambazonian forces that operate in Wum area have denied any responsibility. As a matter of fact, they have been helping the Mbororo community in Wum to look for the whereabouts of these missing Aku people. We had been informed of the missing suspected kidnap case of these Aku people, only to find out that they were dead, stabbed brutally, and killed. This is a pure trademark of an instigation. Their dead bodies were put in a place where people could see. They were probably transported to that particular location. Nobody who planned to kill any Mbororo person could have killed them in this brutal manner and take the time to transport their body to a place where it could be found, alongside areas where it could be linked to the grazing, to the farming population of Wum. This was definitely a setup, as we have seen in several places in Ambazonia. After the dead body of these Mbororo people were found, the group of Mbororo people, the Fulani people who attacked Wum Center, were all the vigilante group that we already know, and we had undercover video testimony of them being recruited by the Cameroon military. They stormed the Wum Center, bold and unafraid of the presence of the Cameroon occupation forces, beating our people, killing 4 innocent civilians, and then safely retreat back into their hidings in the hills where they guide cow and where they live in their safety. They intimidated and terrorized population in Womb. They rise up to protest as expected.
Taking place now, right now in Womb at about 6:30. This is what is presently taking place now. The angry mob and the population this Womb, they don't come out all. Say all man can die. All man can die today.
The population of Womb, they came out in their number, and as expected, the Cameroon military, they were all around monitoring the situation. What the Cameroon government seeks is that such communal attacks will divert attention away from them and from the Cameroon government and the Ambazonian liberation movement, and their agents will come in the midst of this problem created by the Cameroon military to come and demand that they need security from the Cameroon government. They want the Cameroon military to open a barracks and stay there to protect them. This is what we saw in the great state of Boyo in Boom, where Musa Bala, a known Fulani Cameroon agent, organized his boys to attack villages in Boom, destroying properties, killing innocent civilians on a bogus attack on the Muslim community, the Fulani community in Boom. After that attack, the Cameroon military, who knows very well where Musa Bala have been staying, who have had several meetings with him, they came in to listen to the population, and then their agents of La Republique, they took central stage and demanded that the solution is for Cameroon military to open a barracks in Boom and to help and protect their population. That is exactly what they want. It is exactly the same case in Nwa, where we saw the Cameroon Bororo youth being killed, 3 of them in that same case, in this same manner as it happens in Womb, and the Bororo militias that have been sponsored and we know have been displayed publicly by Ngala Gerard attacked the population in Nwa, burning down houses, and then later on the elites, the so-called CPDM elites in Nwa, comes up and say that the solution is to open a Cameroon military barracks to protect the population. We have seen the same thing in the Atlantic State. It's the same thing that is ongoing in Akwaya. We want our people to be aware and be empowered by the knowledge of what is going on to be able to react appropriately. There shall be no help to the Cameroon government. They are the ones behind these attacks. The Muslim and Bororo Fulani in Womb have been peaceful. For the most part, their elites have been engaged with our local population. We have been living together in peace for centuries, even before the coming of the Germans. And our people should be aware of this and not attack the population of the Bororo people. They are a minority and they are protected. And the Bororo community are crying out to say that they are innocent of that attack. The people that attack Womb Center, even though they are Bororo youth, these are youths that have been hired and are being used by the Cameroon military. We have asked for them to be identified and for our population to mobilize themselves into vigilante group and go after this specific individual, not the Bororo community as a whole. Our population must reconstitute themselves, join the self-defense forces who will be taking measures to help build the defense forces in Womb. Our people in Womb should understand that our phone in Womb, who had asked our forces not to attack because La Republique was using the case with Ndawara to use the justification of Ambazonian forces to attack them. Where is the phone today? He is dead, killed by the same Bororo people, helped by the Cameroon military. So we should know that Cameroon is a cancer, it's a curse. It has brought us nothing but what our people were warned will befall us if we unite or we venture into any form of unity with these people. They will continue to attack and provoke communal violence. We are calling on our people in Womb to remain calm and not to fall into the trap of doing 2 things: to carry out reprisal against innocent Bororo people or to demand the presence of the people who are behind this attack, the Cameroon military. We will continue to use special editions to educate our people and engage them on the back to build their defenses and try to resolve this matter.
On allait apporter un concours à la Russie, je crois, qu'elle n'a pas.
Now in La République du Cameroun across the Mongo, where Emmanuel Macron is visiting the country to meet its leader, terrorist and impostor Paul Biya to discuss. As you have been following the news, Mr. Paul Biya appeared not to understand. He's lost focus. He cannot understand. Questions were asked 3 times. In some instances, Emmanuel Macron have to intervene to explain to him what French journalists were asking.
Le président Biya, le Cameroun a noué un partenariat de défense avec la Russie. Alors, est-ce que la guerre en Ukraine a des conséquences très concrètes?
The French journalists they asked Paul Biya if he planned for continue to stay for power after a terms of office is finished. Mr. Paul Biya, after repeatedly asking the journalists for repeat the question because in the year he talks say they will wait, they will hear. He answer after the term of office is done finish, citing the Cameroon constitution say the work according to the constitution. It be worthwhile for remind our people say all rule with the President Paul Biya he take him, he use a presidential degree, he change the constitution at will and has never for once follow any constitutional guidelines in his country. The constitution itself is a product of Paul Biya's office. They also ask you about if Cameroon it support Russia war in Ukraine. The answer with the Paul Biya game it be all vague, lack of substance, and in some instances asking the journalists again in the middle of the answer made them repeat the question. What our people need to know is the truth and what is actually going on. Emmanuel Macron will represent the French hegemony that have been exploiting Africa, always uses such images of display of stupidity in Africa in order to justify to their French audience and the people in France their continued exploitation of our people. And Paul Biya, who have claimed to be a good student of France, always help to play this drama. Our people have to understand, when you see African leaders, they travel to the white man land, especially in France, and they are made to be ridiculed. They walk like dead people on the street. Even though we may find this amusing and think that it is some sad thing, we should understand what is going on. For the French people, the display of this stupidity of these old walking dead African leaders, it helps them to understand that our people are still primitive. We accept this type of people to represent us, and it makes them not prone to put pressure on their government to fight and stop the human rights violations in Africa. We should know that such forums of interviews with Paul Biya are all done with the respect of diplomatic protocol. That is why no strong question was asked about Ambazonia, because it was not meant to be discussed publicly. The French people, when they come to Africa, they look at us through the prism of strong racism, a continent that have nothing to offer for them in terms of politics, but a place where they can exploit our natural resources. Paul Biya plays very well to behave like a fool and like a clown, because that is exactly the type of image Emmanuel Macron wants to show to France and to Europe, to show them that African people are this stupid, African leaders are out of touch, and they are accepted by their people. These are the image that Western people have about Africa. These are the image that the French government, the French parliamentarians have about Africans. The image of people like Paul Biya, dead walking, who cannot listen, who cannot understand. They think that these people are actually democratically representative of our people, irrespective of the reality. It is up to us to fight and portray to the international community the reality that people like Paul Biya are kept there by Emmanuel Macron, not us, the African people. We will need to find our voice as Africans. But as for us Ambazonians, we are focused to liberate our homeland. We will continue to observe the happenings in Yaoundé, and we want Emmanuel Macron to recognize the rights of Ambazonian sovereignty, just like they have done to Ukraine. What is good for Ukraine is good for Ambazonia. Capo Daniel, signing off.